finger on it. But it's different now. There's been a shift. It's like something's opening up in the world. A kind of hole to the center of nothingness. You'd say, well, hon, evil has always existed. You'd cite some statistic about how the world is getting better, less murder, more health, less global horror. Never been a better time to be alive, hon. You'd say, come back. It's not getting better. And I keep needing to hear your answers because something's happening around us and nobody sees but me.
Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever. As most of you already know, we're living in fascinating, amazing, incredible times. We're living in the end days, end times from the Bible, and all evil, all darkness, everything's being revealed. Also in these days, we're seeing an explosion in the language of symbols and symbolism. We're finding interesting connections that may not have been so obvious to us before. In these days, if you've got your spiritual eyes on and you're watching and paying attention, you'll see these things. One example you may not know, but we're actually in the year of the dragon in 2024, and next year's the year of the serpent. So here in the year of the dragon, we also have a news story that comes out where they've found a Chinese dragon fossil. I never bought that. I see this world closer to a biblical timeline than Earth being here 500 million years. Another really interesting sign of the times and great example of the spiritual warfare taking place right now comes to us from a report by the Family Research Council where they found attacks on churches in the United States have surged by nearly 800% in less than 6 years. The report indicates that hostility against U.S. churches is not only on the rise, but accelerating quickly. By category, 315 attacks in 2023 were vandalism, 75 were arson attacks or attempted arson, 10 were gun-related, and 20 were bomb threats, and then 37 fell in the other category. 17 incidents fell into multiple categories according to the report. The report also highlights several standout cases, including incidents of transgender violence against churches. The most shocking incident was the March 27th bang bang at Nashville Covenant School, where a trans-identifying Audrey Hale reportedly took 6 people's lives, including 3 young students. Another attack on January 3rd, 2023 was by a man named Cameron Storer, who identifies as a female. Storer is accused of setting fire to Portland Korean Church, a 117-year-old historic vacant building. The report shows American culture appears increasingly hostile towards Christianity. Criminal acts of vandalism and destruction of church property may be symptomatic of a collapse in societal reverence and respect for houses of worship and religion. In this case, Americans appear increasingly comfortable lashing out against church buildings, pointing to a larger societal problem of marginalizing core Christian beliefs. The comet, coming April 8th, 2024, is shaping up to be a really big deal. Lots of symbolism surrounding this event. I've shown you in some videos examples of the X and how often we're seeing the X now all through the world, covering everything. And being that we're living in such prophetic times, this makes sense and it means something. Even in the Bible, we're told we'll see signs in the sun, moon, and stars. There's something sinister about this one, though. There's something sinister about this sign. America has been set to be destroyed, and most of you realize this. If you're just paying attention, you can tell, you can see. So while America is in the process of being destroyed, we're about to get a massive X from the heavens. Some people are referring to this as the 7 Nineveh eclipse, celestial sign of national judgment based on the sign of Jonah. As you can see here, there's 7 different towns named Nineveh. There's 666 symbolism here. There's 33 symbolism here. There's a lot going on with this X, with this eclipse that's coming for America. We also know that around this time, Ramadan ends, and Ramadan's the 9th month of the Muslim calendar where they worship, for a whole month. That Ramadan is about to end around the 8th or the 9th of April as well. Also, shortly after that, we'll be seeing the Devil Comet. And I've put some information about the Devil Comet in some of my videos as well. So as you can see, this is shaping up to be quite the event. Even now, on the news, many places are going to be shutting down their schools and shutting down business on that day. I mean, I've never seen anything like that for a comet before myself, but you can look this up, and there's many places that are going to be shutting down businesses and schools during this comet. So do they know something we don't? I'm not sure. Will anything major happen on that day? I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is all the signs and symbols associated with this. So whether something happens on that exact day or around it, I'm not so concerned. I see enough here to understand this is a warning.
Stretching out of reach, man at ease, comfort me, paranoid symmetry.
And here's something of interest also, because we keep an eye on the World Economic Forum. This is one of the Luciferian groups, one of the main Luciferian groups that's running the show right now and running this world right into the dirt so they can build back better, as they say. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, they will create this final beast system, and this is what they're doing now. And it always seems that there's some kind of satanic artwork surrounding these people, these Luciferians, and even here at the World Economic Forum, during the latest summit at Davos, there was a strange tapestry with odd imagery that was displayed at the World Economic Forum, and many people are talking about it. This is the tapestry in question, and we'll take a closer look at some of the images in here. As I said earlier, man, these people can't help themselves. There always has to be a demon, a devil, something disgusting, something Luciferian, something to do with the occult in all of their artwork, and this one's no different. You can even tell just from the get-go, there's one thing that continues through the whole scene, and it's a blood trail, and that's leading from a woman giving birth to the devil. All right, now let's see what the devil's doing with all this blood. So here's a closer image, and we can make that a little bigger and bring that in right here, and here's the devil, and it looks like he's drinking in the blood and then maybe dispersing the blood into these little containers. But what's even more interesting is look at the first image, image of a person right there. If you pay special attention to the first image, the first person right there in front of the devil's face, who's kneeling on the blood trail, it looks like. They're offering up their baby, their child, as a sacrifice to the devil. So we know this is something that's happening even to this day. It doesn't look like it used to back in the biblical days when they would walk through the Arch of Baal. They'd sacrifice their children and then participate in orgies and all kinds of revelry while their child died. They were giving up that responsibility so they could party and have a good time. We see that exact same thing happening today, especially here in America. Massive numbers of that. Many people are still sacrificing their children, just like this picture shows us. A little further down the blood trail, we find this businessman drinking something red. So is it wine, or is it the blood drinkers? The blue bloods are blood drinkers. Is it a reference to that, to the adreno stuff, if you know what I mean? And then at the far end of the tapestry, we have this imagery here of a woman giving birth to, it looks like some kind of demonic evil baby. And then, of course, right here at the top of the tapestry, you've got a demon, because there's always a demon with these people. And all this stuff is demonic. I'm sure it has a lot of meaning to others that it doesn't even have to us or to the public, that they understand a little bit more about what all of this is than what we are going to. And that's typically how these people work, in secrets and shadows and codes with numbers. I took some time looking at all this, and there's a bunch of smaller type things I could point out to you, but I think the main point here is what we're looking at right here on the screen. It's the devil, it's the blood trail to birth. You got a woman here offering up her child to the devil. But I think what really matters here with this one to me is what we see right here on screen, the obvious Satanism of it all. The devil, the blood trail, a scary looking baby, and then people sacrificing their children, of course, to the devil. I've also noticed another trend in the news, and this trend has to do with giants. Now, speaking of giants, I've shown you some clips and videos throughout the years of people spotting what they believe are giants. And those kinds of sightings are really picking up more and more in these days. Of course, now you have this. Rome actually created a 13-meter high replica of the ancient Colossus of Constantine. So this is coming from Rome. And we know that Rome, back around 2019, also created a massive statue of Moloch, which goes back to the tapestry I was showing you earlier of people sacrificing their babies to the devil. We see these common themes, right, coming up and coming around. Well, I've noticed that there are several stories about giants in the news, giant statues being created recently even. I threw in a few for good measure. They have the girl from Hoboken statue in New York City facing New York City with the finger over her lips. And many of us are waiting on something to happen in New York City, unfortunately. But there is a prophecy about New York being hit with a nuke and it creating a tsunami and wiping out that city. And I've covered that for years in videos, and there's many different examples of this. Dreams, visions, lots of predictive programming. It's on St. John's Pillars, and of course Jonathan Kleck showed it to us on the money. And the $100 bill also shows New York City being destroyed by this tsunami. So you have that giant statue out there awaiting the event. and then a few more, so check these out. As far as observations go, I made one I think that's really interesting just recently, so I want to share it here with you. You may remember this. This is from the Travis Scott concert, the concert where a lot of people got injured, and there's a lot of strange things happening. There's even video of a demon, a demonic entity, jumping into the crowd, and I've shown you that in some videos before as well. But what I want you to do here, just pay attention to his shirt. And it shows entities passing through a portal and coming in with, demonic horns and red. So evil coming in through a portal and entering this system. Now you can just turn on the news and you can see that happening. You can see it manifesting through people, lawlessness spreading, evil spreading, people's feet rushing to wickedness, all kinds of darkness spreading in this world. But it's very interesting how it comes out in practically everything, even something as harmless as a commercial for mac and cheese. Yeah, you heard me correctly. I know it sounds crazy. I'm going to show you this commercial from Kraft Mac and Cheese. It's a real short commercial, but it shows something very similar here. Demonic creatures going through a portal. In this case, it's a noodle, but you'll see what I mean. So just remember this shirt when I show you this.
That's what makes information so powerful is, you don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future, and that somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
It's easy for me personally to make that connection between that commercial and Travis Scott's shirt. I see this kind of a thing all the time. I can make these connections because I have an understanding that we're dealing with people that are of a satanic hive mind. It's the exact opposite of us. We have the hive mind, or the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ. And this is the battleground. And the war is heating up. I want to give you an example of something. I was kind of surprised, but then I wasn't. Now, many of you know that currently the creatures that are in charge of our government are against us, okay? America's been split in two, but they're against its own people. And one of the primary ways we see this is through the way that they use their DEWs, the direct energy weapons. And we've seen examples of this recently in Chile. I believe they're doing it right now in Texas with the wildfires. They're saying these wildfires are unlike anything they've ever seen in their history. So it all started with Maui. I did a video on that. Other people have pointed out things about Maui as well. So you should have an understanding. Hopefully you have an understanding by now that this was an attack. Okay, we were attacked. The people were attacked and vaporized. And once again, they've done it in Chile, and they're doing it in Texas, I believe, right now. And after I did my video on Maui, I told you this wouldn't be the last time. They're not going to use this and just put it to the side. They're going to keep on using it and using it and using it. Now, they're trying to destroy everything right now for the final beast system. And they want to corral what's left of humanity during the beast system into these 15-minute cities, which are essentially prisons. Just a few days ago, somebody caught actual footage of one of these green beams up in the sky. So I'm going to play that for you. But what's even more interesting is just a few days ago, whoever that thing is they call Biden, whatever that thing is, it was in Texas, and it was talking to the crowd. And if you pay attention, and if you understand what we understand here about the DEWs, he actually told the crowd about the DEWs. He actually let it slip. And he explained because, one of the homes wasn't vaporized when he's talking about this because they had the, quote, right roof. And we understand that's blue, okay? And we've seen, if you've been following this, you've seen examples of how the blue roofs, for whatever reason with this beam, it won't affect anything blue. So in Maui, everything was vaporized except for things that were blue. In Chile, it was the same thing. In Texas, I imagine it'll be similar. Anyway, check this out and just, again, understand where we're at, man. These things, these creatures running this government, they don't care for you or for me. They're against us, okay? They're the hive mind of Satan, all right? Check this out.
What the is that, dude? What? That's it. Big explosion. Explosion. Holy. Holy guys.
If you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. Totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it.
I can understand that it's difficult for some people out there to realize that it's really that bad, but it is that bad, and you have to understand. So many people just don't want to see the truth. They're hiding their heads in the ground. But you see, those days are coming to an end because this system now is putting things in place. It's actually killing us. It's actually taking our lives. It's destroying people's lives. And still people don't want to know, right? They don't want to pay attention. No, everything's okay. But it's not. It's not. And I really hope that things I've shown you throughout the years helps you realize this. There's other people that do this type of thing. I hope they help you. I just hope you have an awareness of what time it is, man. We are on the doorstep of tribulation. And I truly hope you have accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. It's very important that you do it soon. You're running out of time. The restrainer's about to leave. When that happens, this whole world's going to change. It's going to be about as close to a hell on earth as you can imagine. And I know people can't see it. Nah, it's going to be all right. We'll figure it out. No. It's all about destruction. It's all about God's wrath, and that's what's coming for this world. So I hope you've accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. Lean on Him. Lean on that relationship. Stay in peace with Him. Okay? You'll stay in peace. So that's all I wanted to show you for now, guys. As always, I thank you so very much for watching my videos, and I always hope and pray that they help people out there. So take care of yourselves, okay? And thank you once again so much. Trust Jesus in these days. He's the very best friend you'll ever have. So until next time, you guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.